Hello everyone.
Hi guys, Les and Wendy and Les back for another video, and today we are just going to do a little drive and show you the aftermath of the 3 storms we've had in the last 10 days here in St. John. So as you can see, the snowbanks, just if you can just focus on the sidewalk there, that's an example of where we have sidewalk plows in the city. I don't know if you have them where you are, but when we were in BC, everyone was responsible for plowing their own sidewalks. Here it's all done for us. So over these last 10 days, we have had some significant storm activity here. I'm just waiting for cars to go by. We have had 2 nor'easters and 1 regular storm. And that has brought a total of 60 centimeters approximately, or 2 feet of snow. After the latest nor'easter, we're back to sunshine again. But we just want to drive through and show you here. We have the latest storm was yesterday, I guess, the night previous to yesterday. And the roads have all been plowed again and clear. The sidewalks have been plowed for the most part. Got some snow banks built up, which will tend to happen when you've had 2 feet of snow.
It's still pretty though. That's what I like about it. It's right after a snowfall, it's always so pretty out everywhere. Nice and white.
Now it's been a week since our last video, and that weekend was the first nor'easter, which is threatening to become our most ever watched video, so thank you all for that. But the reason for being a week between is, full disclosure, Wendy hurt herself.
Because I'm so old now.
That little short video we did of shoveling the driveway, or when we were going to start shoveling the driveway, Wendy was all full of energy and going to help me for the first time in 5 years.
What? I've done it by myself before, so whatever.
Anyway, so tell the people what happened, Wendy.
So I helped shovel the driveway. There was a huge drift in our driveway, so we got at it, and it took us a good 45 minutes to shovel our way out of that. And I didn't really feel much of anything that day, but that night I seized up while I was sleeping, and it progressively got worse. So I found out last week I have a sprained SI.
Which in layman terms means she's walking around like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, it's been awful. I've never felt so old in my life. It's weird because, I'm still 26 in my head, but obviously my body has a different age in mind.
Of course, my body is actually older than Wendy's, but it is a temple, so I'm still walking around healthy as an ox. But anyway, we like to tell you all about what life is like in St. John, and any of you who've had to shovel driveways knows that it's not the greatest task for people. But as St. John is, Wendy came across a local lad who offered to do our driveway with his snowblower and shovel after every storm for $20 a crack, which we think is very reasonable.
Yes, that's a great deal for sure.
Met him yesterday after the second nor'easter when he came first thing in the morning to do our driveway. Very nice young fellow, hardworking, and we are very appreciative. So if you are older or if you have mobility challenges and you've been thinking of moving to this area, do not fret. There are always people to help you, whether it be lawn mowing in the summer or landscaping, or in this case, shoveling your driveways in the winter and walkways. So again, we're showing you the drive through the back roads. We're going to do a little loop through Uptown because that's where we were during the storm. But you can see here, like, this doesn't affect life. 3 storms, 2 feet of snow in 10 days, and we're just driving on dry paved roads.
And the sidewalk plowed, and there's pedestrians out, and so it's business as usual. They dig themselves out pretty quick around here.
Sometimes we aim this more towards our BC viewers because that's where we're from, and people out in the east are used to this kind of thing. The weather we had is nothing different than they had in Ontario and Quebec over the same time period, or in the northeast of the US, and we've had some wonderful viewers contact us from Maine and California and Oregon and all over Canada with that last video we did, and it's been really nice.
Yes.
And here we got some nice views of the harbor.
Yeah, look at that.
And this leads me to another little point I wanted to make, hopefully quickly. Pro tip for you dog owners. So our beloved Jack dog, who passed away at the end of summer, he was used to this kind of weather. So we never had any issues with him in the winter time. But our current dog, who spent her whole life in California before we were asked to rescue her and bring her up here, she's a pit bull just like Jack was, and she's tough just like Jack was, but she's very sensitive to the snow and the frozen ground.
She's a California girl.
Yeah, so this is her first experience with this kind of weather as far as we know. So what the little tip is, sorry, I'm just changing lanes, is that because the Bay of Fundy, which we just passed by the harbor a little bit, does not freeze, unlike pretty much every other body of water in the Maritimes, the tide comes into the beach and washes away the snow on the beach. And also because the waters in the Bay of Fundy are warmer than the outside air at this time of year, the tide that comes in and washes back out also slightly warms up the sand on the beaches. So we've been taking our little pooch to the beach for her mid-afternoon walks to give her a little bit of exercise during these cold spells. And she has been managing much better on the sand of the beach rather than in the snow of the neighborhoods. So if you have a dog and you're thinking of moving here, keep that in mind if your dog is sensitive, because our dog will not wear booties and that kind of thing.
Well, we've tried to get her in booties, and she does the whole lift one paw up over her head every time she takes a step. It's kind of funny to watch, but she doesn't like them at all.
So yeah, she's a sensitive pawed pooch, and people look at pit bulls and think they're just made of steel, but apparently not.
No.
So now we are driving around the edge of Uptown again. The streets are all plowed, the snowbanks are there, the sun is shining high and beautiful in the sky.
Look, not a cloud in the sky. It's
But
beautiful.
that doesn't come without its cost as well. Right now it is minus 10 degrees Celsius, and we're at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But this minus 10 has been the warmest it's been in a couple of days.
The one thing that I've actually been grateful for the last week, and I don't think my back injury could have come soon enough, is we've had some really cold temperatures, and Les has been walking the dog for us. That's usually my job. He comes with me late at night, but I take care of walking her throughout the day and stuff, and so I've been able to stay inside nice and warm while Les walks my dog 3 times a day.
I did think for a brief time it was an elaborate ploy. But yeah, it's been we did have a couple of days where it was mild above zero, but we've had several days where yesterday, for instance, the high was minus 13, the low was minus 20, but with wind chills it was as cold as minus 35 at times.
Yeah, that's not normal temperature for this area, but we do get it here and there throughout the winter. We've had a pretty mild winter up until the last week.
Interestingly enough, in the fall, we, the weather networks, they all do their forecasts for the winter across the country, and they did tell us we would have a very mild fall and early winter, and come January, we would expect higher than average snowfalls and colder than average temperatures. And
look how pretty this is.
that's
here.
what we've had so far. Yeah, so this is beautiful King Street in Uptown, kind of the main drag.
So pretty, even in the winter time, folks.
Yes, and all the old architecture, which we show you often. And we're coming up to King Square, so we're not spending a lot of time in Uptown, but we did come here during the first storm, so I just want to update how things are looking now. Oh, and it reminds me, there's a sign across the way there. We're having Poutine Fest coming up in St. John, January 10th to 16th. That is a gift to people looking to make their heart health go downhill in a hurry.
Well, I'm thinking I'm going to put off my New Year's resolution of losing weight until after Poutine Fest. So, because Les has been cooking for me with a bad back as well. So, we've been eating really tasty stuff.
What she means is junk.
Junk.
So this is King Square ahead of us. So if you're interested, Poutine Fest is on the sign, and it says January 10th to 16th. We have not partaken in a Poutine Fest.
Today's the 16th.
Oh.
Oh, last day.
Oh,
Maybe
it's
that's
over.
what's for dinner.
All right, so
There you go.
unless you're heading into town today, forget about the Poutine Fest.
But they have all sorts of different things throughout the year for food, and they've had Lobster Roll Fest and
We got Rib Fest,
Rib Fest.
all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Atlantic provinces in general, and St. John is no exception. They love their festivals. The locals always come out to support them. We've shown you videos of the Uptown Bazaar, or the Moonlight Bazaar, I guess it was, and the Sparkles Christmas Fest. There are always good festivals going on. I'm not sure what's going to be happening in the short term, because we are now in a semi-lockdown state here. We are in our level 3 COVID restrictions, but that doesn't mean you can't come into the province. When we were in the early stages, our province was locked down, but that is not the case now. You're welcome to come.
Yes.
So this is King Street East. We started our video on King Street West. Well, it was Duke Street, but it was King Square. So here you get these overhanging beautiful trees. You see the snowbanks piled up. It actually looks really pretty right now.
It does, along with this, beautiful architecture.
And this is a boulevard in the middle, so it's normally a grassy area.
Quite picturesque, for sure.
So we're going to continue. We're heading to the back side of Uptown, and we're going to head out on that side and just skip on over to the East Side commercial area to see how things are looking there. But the main point of this, well, we wanted to show you the aftermath of the 3 storms in 10 days, but this city does not shut down. It may shut down for a day or two here, well, no more than a day. When there's a major storm, we usually have advance warning so we can get our supplies, but the next day everything's back. We don't usually get too many lingering effects. We have sunshine after the big storms. We'll have the lingering effect of snow piled up on the sidewalks. That's about it.
So 3 big storms and not 1 power outage as well.
No, and that's a good point, because New Brunswick as a province does have frequent power outages. But St. John as a city, which uses its own power company, St. John Energy, which I think has its own electrical grid, but don't quote me on that. We've never had a power outage since in the 4 years we've been here for more than like a few seconds, I think. Mm-hmm. Even when we had Hurricane Dorian a couple of years back, we didn't lose power in our home, even though there were trees that fell over the street in front of us.
Yeah, I actually got it all on video, and our lights were on, and I was looking out the front window and had music playing on in the background. And so we didn't lose our electricity at all, but other parts of, the St. John area did.
Yeah.
We didn't.
So outside of St. John, they use New Brunswick Power, or NB Power. In St. John, we have St. John Energy. And so if you're wondering if you're moving to this area, if you need a generator, it will depend on where you're moving to. If you're going to go into a rural area, I would highly recommend having some kind of a backup generator, whether it be portable or built in. But if you're in the city limits, you probably don't need one.
So that's some industry over there. We actually had a nice chat with some of our viewers today, and they were asking about industry like a lot of people do. I think one of our viewers, Aaron, he said it best. It's a matter of getting used to seeing the industry. As far as the air quality is concerned, the air quality in St. John is a lot better than the air quality from where we're from. So there's lots of regulations and stuff in place now, but you do see industry in St. John. There's no doubt about that.
Yes, to me it's dwarfed by all the natural and architectural beauty, but it does exist here.
Mm-hmm.
And we do want to just mention that both Wendy and I are now licensed realtors, and even we work for Royal LePage Atlantic, national company here in St. John. And even though it is winter and we've had these storms, the real estate activity has not slowed down in the slightest.
Yeah, that was our call this morning. It was from a couple of viewers that had reached out to us, so it was nice talking to them.
And we do want to pass along our thanks to all of our viewers who have reached out to us to help them find their new homes in St. John or the St. John area. We are licensed throughout New Brunswick, but we are happy to show you most things within an hour or so of St. John.
So we're hoping to get you a testimonial sometime soon about how easy it is to move in from out of province. Everything is, electronic now, and we do all of the legwork for you and stuff, so it's quite an easy transaction. But we're gonna try to interview someone who did just that, and they'll.
Yeah, we already had our interview with Justin, which hopefully you watched, and he did the same thing, but that interview was more focused on his motivations for moving here. We do want to talk to another client and wonderful couple that about what the experience was like buying sight unseen and how things have gone since they did that. So we'll be working on that. They're just settling into their home right now. We're going to give them some space to do so, but they did happily volunteered to sit down for an interview with us.
And they're young folk too, so I'm excited to see what their motivation was to move into St. John, because that is a question that a lot of young people pose all the time too. What is life like in St. John for younger people? Well, we're old, so we're not old. We're in our 50s, right? So the best, way to get information on that is to actually talk to young people. So we're going to be doing that for you guys. So coming up.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of articles about how young people cannot afford to buy homes anymore, and in other major markets, and we can assure you that in St. John, in New Brunswick in general, the Canadian dream of home ownership is still alive and well.
Yes.
And in our opinion, life is better out here anyway. So
it sure is. It's a much nicer city to raise a family in than from where we come from, for sure.
And we have had some locals, since we've had a lot of views of our recent videos, we've had some locals piping in that things aren't so great here, but a lot of those locals have never lived in other places, and we don't try to make this out to be some kind of utopian society. We know that the city has its flaws, but we compare it to other places we've lived, and it comes out first in every category.
Yes, for sure. And then we have some locals that love their hometown and their city, and they pipe in whenever they can to share information and add to what we've already kind of talked about, and sometimes correct us, which is great. And there's so many knowledgeable people who pipe in once in a while. So
yeah, and I want to mention someone. His name is Andrew, who's been so active both on our Facebook group, We Love St. John for newcomers, and our YouTube channel, We Love St. John. He just goes out of his way to help everybody, and he's just a beautiful example of the friendliness and helpful attitudes of people in the city.
Yeah, so thank you. And there's a few others too that always chime in once in a while, so thank you to you too.
So look at this sidewalk.
I know, right?
So the city plows that. People are not responsible to do that. They are responsible to do their own driveways, of course, but it's here we are, a day after a major nor'easter, and we're driving on dark pavement.
Yes. Now, what road is this?
This is Westmoreland Road.
All right, so we are going into the shopping district,
which is where we'll end our video when we get to just show you that area. So we've gone from the west side to the east side, including through uptown, and just showing you the general conditions.
All within 20 minutes.
Yeah, and we didn't take a direct route or anything.
Exactly. So for us, we live on the west side to get to Costco, because that's my weak spot is Costco. It takes us 10 minutes.
Yeah. And the Costco is basically directly to our left right now.
It's true. It's right over there. I love that place.
And so this east side is a wonderful area for families because there are jobs here, there is shopping here. If you don't have a car, you can usually get around either transit or on foot. We have our major shopping malls, we have our major box stores, and major chain restaurants all located in this one east side area.
Oh, also, like a lot of people reach out to us and ask us about jobs and stuff. If you're a contractor, whether you be a handyman, a carpenter, electrician, a plumber, some sort of journeyman, anything, there's work out here for you. Seriously, one of our buyers were asking around for contractors just this week, and nobody's returning his calls, and so I put out a few inquiries for him. But if you're a contractor in the area and you want some additional work, please reach out to us. All of our contact information is in each video. So
yeah, and that's something, a lot of the homes that are being bought here do need some updates here and there, and so there's great need for tradespeople and handymen to help people out that are moving into the area. And we do notice that there's not a lot of people that use websites here. So a lot of this is word of mouth, or just having a guy, as I say in air quotes. And so yeah, if you're looking for work and want to reach out to us, we'd be happy to put your name out there.
For sure.
So again, this is the main heart of the east side shopping. No problems getting around. The roads are completely clear. The sidewalks are clear. Parking lots are plowed. So yeah, life goes on in St. John even after 3 major storms in a 10-day period.
Yeah, which is another reason why
we love St. John.
have a good day.